With the solemnity of Christ the King, today's feast, we end the liturgical year, and what an end it has been. The last few days have proven to be a really fierce reminder that we are in Canada and that snow comes whether we're ready or not. And maybe there is a symbolism there as well, because at the end of the liturgical year, we talk about the end of our lives coming, whether we're ready or not, an encounter with God coming, whether we're ready or not. And so these things, I was driving to Quebec City this week, and when I got as far as, I think it was Montreal or close to Montreal, and the weather turned into this kind of weather, I stopped and I saw there was like a Jiffy Lube, Quick Lube station, and there was a lineup of cars so long for changing of their tires. They weren't ready. And now at the last minute, what happens to us when we're not ready? We overpay and we have to go to Jiffy Lube. Come on, people. We have to be ready. Once I got to Quebec City, I was there for an interview for a visa, for a U.S. visa at the embassy, because as you know, I'm going for a sabbatical to the States for a few months in the new year. And it was an interesting experience because I was placed in a line, and there was a huge lineup outside waiting to go inside the embassy. And one by one, everyone was waiting to be invited in, to have their interview, and to come out. And I looked around and I saw I'm the only one who's not dressed up. Everyone else dressed up for this interview. Men and women, nice clothes, ties, suit. And then they go in and they're trying to be as nice as they can to be allowed into the country. And it made me think, in terms of this solemnity of Christ the King and the idea of citizenship, how hard it is for us to get a citizenship in a country that we may want to live in, but we weren't born in. Look at how many people strive to get Canadian citizenship or American citizenship, to create a life in a country that has something more to offer to them, to their children. And you have to dress up, and you have to be nice, and you have to go out of your way, hoping that those with power will see value in you and will say, yes, you may come in. Yes, you can be one of us. Yes, you can make a life here. People go out of their way in order to get citizenship or permanent residency. I remember when we came to Canada, we were pressuring our dad to get his citizenship before we were 18 years old, because we automatically wanted to get the citizenship once our dad did. And he had to study. He had to study all the, provinces and a little bit of history of Canada. And so we helped him get ready for his exam, and he went in, he got his citizenship. But there was an effort involved. Now, Jesus says, you are citizens of heaven. Look how important it is for us to remember that our citizenship as Christians is not just in the best country we think exists here on earth. But our primary focus is to say, my citizenship is in heaven. And Jesus, as the King, as the Lord, as the President, as the Prime Minister, whatever you want to call him, he is in charge of telling me that we can be citizens of his country, of his place. The best place for us, the one we were made for, but the one we were not born in. And Jesus opens wide the door and says, try a little bit, dress up a little bit, give of yourself a little bit. I want to give you the best citizenship you can ever have. But it doesn't come automatically. We have to come to him. We have to show up. We have to have our life of prayer, sacramental grace, confession from time to time, admittance of our own sins, acceptance of the teachings of Jesus. These are small requirements compared to what Canada requires to become a Canadian citizen, or the US. But there are requirements. But the gift of citizenship in heaven is beyond compare. Christ is called the King, the one in charge of the kingdom of heaven, the greatest place for us. And we have all been invited. We will all get an interview. And if our hearts are open, and if we trust him, if we love him, if we follow him, our papers will get stamped. Come on in. Make your life in my kingdom. And so today, on this last day of the liturgical year, let's give thanks to God that we have been found worthy to be here. I know it can sometimes feel like, well, we're the only ones going to church. But if we look at it from the perspective of what it is we are receiving, we are so blessed that in some mysterious way, whether it's our upbringing, our place in time right now, whatever it is that's bringing us back, is a grace in itself. And we must continue to come back to show our appreciation for the greatest country in the world, the kingdom of heaven, which is ours, and Christ who invites us to be his. Amen?
Amen.